For ThunderVision, I'm Mike Benton. One of the most popular players in Thunder history is back, and he brings along a sibling. Earlier today, Garet was re-signed to a one-year deal, and he also brings Trevor, who is back in the blue line, also signing a one-year contract. The man who made all this happen is now with me and Thunder head coach Matt Thomas. And Matt, Garet goes into his third full season. Trevor is entering his first full season. All in all, why did this move make sense?
Well, I don't think you can find a lot of players that play the way both these guys play. Obviously, our fans are very familiar with Garet and his on the edge style. It's a style that I like. I think sometimes he goes over the edge, but again, I think he's learned his lessons from that. I think we had a little run in mid-season last year where his discipline was an issue, and I thought he really bounced back and was very good down the stretch. And then I thought he got himself in a little trouble there in the conference finals, and I thought it hurt the team a little bit. But again, I think you live and die with those guys, because I think he's also a guy who scored big goals for us in the playoffs and was a big momentum changer. He had some big hits, and the one thing he certainly does, he has people looking over their shoulders when he's on the ice, because for a guy who's not overly big, he can certainly hit, and it's I think it's an exciting thing for our fans and for our team that we know we've got a guy like Garet out there. And again, he's not a big guy, but he makes everybody on your team a foot taller and 20 pounds heavier and that much more brave. So it's an important part to our I think overall team identity that we got Garet back under contract.
For a guy like Garet, who can certainly get under the opponent's skin, you also utilized him a lot last year in key situations on the penalty kill. What else is there for him in terms of room to grow?
Well, I think the one thing he needs to do is he needs to elevate his offensive game. He's a guy who can certainly makes plays. He understands the game real well. From a coaching standpoint, I've had very few players that are that committed to the system and understand it and play within it, and I think that's why he's a very good penalty killer. He's also a thinker that way, and I think sometimes he takes a lot of pride because it's been the way he's been able to play a lot of minutes over his career in the defensive element of the game. But I think he's got to add some offensive punch to his game, and I think he's got it in him. And you saw some highlight reel goals that he scored last year, and for me right now they're just a little too far and few in between. So we want to make sure that he's as focused on improving his offensive game. If he can become a guy who scores double-digit goals and is maybe in the 30-point range, he's going to be a guy that's never going to lose that edge, and he's going to be that much more valuable. And more importantly, he'll be a player that is probably in the American Hockey League by the end of the year.
As far as Trevor is concerned, you brought a player in him coming out of the University of Alaska Anchorage, and he stuck around for quite a bit, and matter of fact, through the entire playoff run. What do you see in him?
Well, I think the one thing is, I don't know. I know how they're brothers because they look identical, but Trevor's a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more laid back, and I think it probably comes a little bit from playing D instead of playing forward, where you got to be in on the forecheck as a forward and hitting. So he's a little bit more reserved out there, but he certainly has that edge. You give him a lot of credit for going with Justin Johnson in the opening shift up in Alaska, and he's a guy that he wants to send a message. He's real tough, and for him it was his first fight in 4 years, so it's there's a big difference there coming into it, but you see the heart, the passion, and the courage that he has. He's a guy who's going to lay it on the line every night. But the one thing that I think he has that is going to be a big-time element for us, he's got an absolute cannon from the point. He's got a great shot, a great one-timer. He moves along the blue line real well, and I also think he has a lot of poise for a guy who's playing back there, that he can distribute the puck well. So I'm really looking for him to come in and be what a Ryan Constant is, a guy who brings toughness, can skate the puck and bring it, lug it up the ice, and can also make plays from the offensive blue line. And you can never have enough of those guys. And he's certainly someone that I think is going to really grow into what will be a fan favorite here in Stockton.
They always say in this league that Matt Thomas coached teams never lack toughness. So what do these two signings mean in terms of trying to reach that ultimate goal and getting back to that toughness quotient for this next season?
Well, again, I think the game needs to be played a certain way, and sometimes my teams can go over the edge and it hurts us, and that's the unfortunate thing. But I also think it also leads to a lot of different victories, and teams don't want to play us. And these two players, they kind of personify that type of an attitude, that you don't want to play against the Hunts. It's just that simple, and I want our teams to be known as a hard-working, tough team to play against, and we're going to be in your face, and we're going to make you earn every inch of ice, and these two guys are certainly the right type of individuals to fit into that mold. But it's always nice when you have some scorers in the mix there, and I know for those scores, when you have some players like these guys, it kind of allows them to be that much more complete players in terms of being able to concentrate on their jobs, and that's scoring goals.